Welcome back to the EMT Spots Blood Pressure Podcast. I'm Samuel Harrison.
And I am Olivia Harper.
Today we're going deep on beta blockers.
Oh, yeah. Those medications you always hear about for heart conditions and high blood pressure.
Exactly. But you know what?
What's that?
They're used for way more than that.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to uncover all the ways they're used, how they actually work, and what you need to know to use them safely.
Sounds good. Well, beta blockers are pretty amazing in how they're used for different things.
Yeah, how do they even work?
Well, at their core, they block certain hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Think of those hormones as messengers telling your heart to speed up.
Gotcha.
Beta blockers basically cut those messages off.
So it's like they're chilling your heart out.
Pretty much. Yeah, they keep things nice and calm.
Makes sense for heart conditions, but how do they
Yeah.
help with stuff like anxiety or migraines?
Well, that's where the different types of beta blockers come in.
Different types. Tell me more.
So there are two main categories, non-selective and cardioselective. Non-selective beta blockers, like propranolol, are the multitaskers. They block beta-1 receptors, mainly in the heart, and beta-2 receptors in other parts of the body, like your lungs.
Interesting.
This means they can be used for a bunch more conditions, like high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, and even migraines.
So if you've got a few things going on, non-selective beta blockers are the way to go.
Yeah, possibly. Then you've got the cardioselective ones, like atenolol and metoprolol.
Okay.
They focus on the heart, mainly blocking beta-1 receptors there,
Gotcha.
which makes them better for people with things like asthma because they don't mess with the lungs as much.
Smart thinking. Wouldn't want to make someone's breathing worse when you're trying to help their heart.
Exactly. So non-selective for more issues and cardioselective for mainly the heart.
Makes sense. So blocking these hormones, what's the big deal? How does that actually help treat all these different conditions?
Okay, let's break down a few ways they're used.
Go for it. I'm listening.
Well, first, you have those cardiovascular conditions.
Right.
Beta blockers are a big part of treatment for high blood pressure, hypertension.
Right.
By slowing down the heart and reducing how hard it pumps, they lower blood pressure and help protect the heart from working too hard.
Sounds like they're giving your heart a much-needed break.
Exactly. They're also vital for angina, that's chest pain, from reduced blood flow to the heart muscle.
Oh, yeah.
By lessening the heart's workload, they help to ease angina symptoms and improve quality of life.
Like taking the pressure off, literally.
You got it.
Yeah.
They're also a big help in managing heart failure.
Which is?
That's when the heart just can't pump blood properly. Beta blockers help it work better and reduce risks of things getting worse.
So the heart works smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And another bonus is they can actually help prevent more heart attacks in people who have already had one.
How?
They kind of protect the heart, lower the risk of further damage, and improve survival rates.
That's incredible. It's like a guardian angel for your heart.
It really is. But the interesting part is that beta blockers aren't just for the heart.
Right. You mentioned migraines earlier.
Yeah, well, it turns out that adrenaline and noradrenaline can actually make blood vessels in the brain wider.
Okay.
And that's thought to play a part in triggering migraines.
Gotcha.
Beta blockers step in, regulate those vessels, and help stop that from happening.
Like traffic cops for the brain, keeping those vessels from widening too much.
Precisely. And speaking of adrenaline, they can be helpful for managing anxiety, too.
Really?
Especially performance anxiety, that feeling of your heart racing before a big presentation or show.
Oh, I know that feeling. Stage fright times 10.
Yeah, beta blockers can help calm those nerves down and ease those physical symptoms.
So they help keep that fight or flight response in check when you need to stay cool under pressure.
Exactly. It's amazing how these medications can affect so many different parts of our health.
Totally. But like any medication, it's important to be aware of the potential downsides.
Very true. We should probably talk about that next.
Let's dive into those potential side effects of beta blockers. So, side effects. What are some things people need to keep in mind with beta blockers?
Right. Gotta be in the know about the good and the bad. Well, since they slow your heart rate, one common thing is bradycardia.
Bradycardia.
Yeah, it just means a slow heart rate.
Okay, and what about blood pressure? Could that get too low?
Yeah, it could. That's something to watch for. Hypotension, low blood pressure. You might feel lightheaded, dizzy, maybe even faint.
Not good. Are there any other things to watch out for?
Well, because they work on the same pathways as those hormones we talked about, some people might feel tired, cold hands and feet, maybe even changes in their mood or how they sleep.
So it's not just physical stuff. It can affect your mind and emotions too.
Exactly. And everybody's different. What might be a small thing for someone could be a big problem for someone else.
That's why it's so important to talk to your doctor about how you're feeling. They can help figure out what to do.
Absolutely. And talking about being open, Drug interactions are a big deal. Beta blockers can interact with other meds, so it's super important to tell your doctor about everything you're taking, even over-the-counter stuff and supplements.
Yeah, it's easy to forget about those vitamins and herbal remedies.
You'd be surprised how many people don't mention those. Better to be safe than sorry. Taking beta blockers with other blood pressure medications, for example, could make your blood pressure drop way too low.
Double dose of blood pressure lowering. That's not what we want.
Nope. And another thing is they can interact with some diabetes medications.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can hide the symptoms of low blood sugar, which is dangerous for people with diabetes.
That's something people with diabetes definitely need to know. So communication with your doctor is key to being safe with these medications. What else can people do to make sure they're using them right?
Good question. Well, first, always follow your doctor's instructions. Don't change the dose or stop taking them without talking to your doctor.
Why is that so important?
Well, your body gets used to having the beta blocker around. Stopping suddenly can cause a rebound effect.
Meaning,
Your heart rate and blood pressure could shoot up, and in some cases could even trigger a heart attack.
that's scary. So even if you're feeling better or think you don't need the medication anymore, talk to your doctor first.
Exactly. They can help you slowly reduce the dose if it's okay. Minimizes the risk of those rebound effects.
Okay, so to use beta blockers safely, what are the key takeaways?
First, consistency. Take your meds as your doctor told you.
Right, every day.
Yeah, set reminders, make it part of your routine, whatever works.
Also check whether to take it with or without food.
Yep, some beta blockers can upset your stomach on an empty one.
And don't forget to keep an eye on your blood pressure and heart rate at home.
Good point. Home blood pressure monitors are easy to get and use.
And of course, don't miss those follow-up appointments.
So important, your doctor needs to see how you're doing, if there are any side effects, and if the dose needs adjusting. Plus, it's a good time to ask questions.
All about being involved in your own healthcare.
Exactly. We've talked about a lot, from how beta blockers work to the importance of using them, right?
It's been quite the journey learning about these medications.
It has. But before we finish, we should talk about one more thing. The future potential of beta blockers.
Oh, now that's interesting. Tell me more. Future potential. Lay it on me. What else can these beta blockers do?
Well, you know how we said they're mainly known for heart stuff?
Right.
Well, more and more researchers are looking at how they could help with other conditions down the road.
Like what I'm imagining them as superheroes now, helping out everywhere.
I like that. And you might be right. Studies are being done, but some are saying beta blockers could be good for Alzheimer's, PTSD, even some cancers.
Really?
Mm.
That's incredible. So these little traffic cops could be huge in other areas, not just the heart.
Yeah, it's exciting, for sure.
Huh.
Of course, more research is needed before we know, for sure. But it's amazing to think about how they could help people in even more ways.
Definitely feels like we've only just scratched the surface of what they can do.
Exactly. So much more to learn. But for now, I think we've covered a lot about these medications.
For sure. We've gone from the basics to how to use them safely and even what they might be able to do in the future. Feels like I got a crash course in all things beta blockers.
Me too. It's always great to dive into the science and see how these medications can really affect people's lives.
Absolutely. And just a reminder to everyone listening, this was just for information, not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor or another healthcare professional for any health concerns or before making any decisions about your health or treatment.
Super important. Your doctor knows best.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode of the EMT Spot's Blood Pressure Podcast. I'm Samuel Harrison.
And I'm Olivia Harper.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into beta blockers. We hope you found it helpful and interesting.
If you did, please subscribe to our podcast, give us a like, and share it with your friends and family. We have new episodes every week talking about all kinds of things related to blood pressure and heart health.
And let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, stay healthy and keep those blood pressure numbers in a good range.